Oh, it's done. I was jamming, man. Jamming. I need to make that video longer. I need to figure out how to make that video longer. What's up, everybody? It's your boy LJ Johnson, host of the LJ Show, music, culture, sports, where they all come alive. Where they all come alive and collide at the same time. Today, I want to talk about the girl in the pink. LJ, what are you talking about? I want to talk about the girl in the pink. All right. So let me share my screen so I can show you what I am talking about. There it is. This girl right here. Let's talk about this girl. All right. I have not been able to find her name, but this was a post by a gospel artist, and she posed the question, the same question that I had when this incident happened. What if this was your daughter? What would you want the officer to do? So I'm asking anybody that's out there with kids. Now I know if you do have kids, both of these individuals come to mind because it's sad on both ends. But specifically, if the girl in the pink was your daughter, and this is the same question that this gospel artist posed on her Facebook post, what would you want the police officer to do? If this was your daughter in the pink, what would you want the police officer to do? Right here. Now, this is before the hand raised. The hand got to about right here, getting ready to stab. If this was your daughter in the pink, what would you want the police officer to do? That's my question to everybody out there under the sound of my voice, or you may listen on another platform, where it's iTunes or Spotify. I forgot all the platforms. I used to have memorized, but I don't have memorized. But what would you do if this was your daughter in the pink? What would you want the officer to do? Because I'm just trying to get people to be real about this situation and stop trying to promote the same agendas that keeps not help that doesn't help our communities, that doesn't help us as people. Stop promoting lies. It's time to be real about this situation and about a lot of situations, right? Because we can also talk about the guy that kicked the girl, right? He kicked the girl and then he got up and yelled at the police officer for shooting the girl that was trying to stab the girl in pink. So if you were a parent, especially if you're a parent that has a teenager right now, what would you want the police officer to do if this was your daughter? You don't have to answer that because I know exactly what you would want him to do. You don't have to tell people on Facebook because you don't want them to know. I know exactly what you want him to do. You want him to do exactly what he did. I know it. You know it. You would want him to do exactly what he did. If this was your daughter right here, and if you say you wouldn't, then that's a lie. Because this you're a parent, and that will be your daughter in the pink, and you will want the police officer to do the exact same thing that he did. Every black person that's got a daughter, if they really, really be real with themselves, if they look at the girl in the pink at this picture, and they think to themselves, if that was my daughter, what would I want the police officer to do? You want him to do exactly what he did. I mean, that's just being real. I mean, it's time to be real with ourselves, right? There was a great question that this gospel artist posed on her Facebook account. It was great, and a lot of people was like taken back from like, see, why are you gonna ask? That's one of those things that everybody's thinking about, but you don't want to say. She said it. And that's what this show does too. I always say what people are thinking, but they don't want to say. So I always talk about what people are thinking, what they don't want to say. Always. But if this, one more time, if this is your daughter in the pink, what would you want the police officer to do? You don't have to answer that, because I know you would say, I want the police officer to do exactly what he did if this was my daughter. So, all right, let me share it. Let me stop sharing this. I want to get to this other video. I mean, that's the reality of the world that we live in right now. There's the same people that would rather have the police officer knew exactly what he did. When they truly be real with themselves, they would want him to do exactly what he did if that was their daughter. Those are the same people on Facebook. Now, he should have shot in the air. He should have shot the leg. It does not work that way. If he shoots in the air, the bullets has to. In this statement, what goes up must. That's right, come down. What goes up must come down. As a police officer, as a sworn officer of the law that you sworn to protect and serve the community, you cannot fire your gun in any place, anywhere. Now, I'm not saying this don't happen, because it does. You cannot fire that weapon unless you are trying to protect or stop a crime, or protect somebody else from getting a crime committed against. That's the only reason why you can fire that weapon. And so it doesn't work that way, where you can just shoot up in the air or shoot the leg, because what if he missed and then the bullet bounces? Anybody knows anything about guns and bullets and stuff and marksmanship and firearms, period, they know you cannot just shoot wherever you want. They know once the bullet leaves the gun, it goes somewhere, it bounces and all that stuff. You can't just shoot at the leg. That's why they don't teach shoot at the leg, because that's dangerous. It was other people around. Can't shoot in the air. Bullet goes up. It has to come down. It has to come down. You can't shoot in the air. You know, I just really wish that people that are smart enough stop listening to people that say things like that, celebrities. I'm not gonna get on LeBron today, because he's got enough people getting on him today, and through the weekend, through last week, he's got police officers getting on him. One police officer, black police officer, called him out and just said, hey, you know what? I've been a fan of the Lakers my whole life. My family has been too as well. I really like, what you do on the court. I really like what you're doing outside of the court too, because you have the school going, and I think you help the community, but I think you have it wrong on police officers. So I would like to have a conversation with you, man to man. And, LeBron probably won't do it, but I hope LeBron does it. I hope LeBron brings the police officer, because it's a black police officer. I hope he brings him on his barbershop show, But anyway, let's watch this video. This video was sent to me by he disagrees with me a lot, which is fine. A lot of people disagree with Jesus. A lot of people disagree with Paul. I'm not Jesus. I'm not Paul. I'm just saying I'm trying to be like them. Yeah, like that. So he sent this to me, and it's a white police officer basically saying what his experience was as a police officer. When you talk about police officers dealing with interacting with black people.
I used a little excessive force, and I slapped somebody when he said something really insulting to me. And after I did that, I realized, wow, I shouldn't have, I had no right to do that. That was not professional. It not only was not professional, it was not human. About a week later, another incident occurred, and I used more force than I needed. After the guy was handcuffed, I grabbed him, I pushed him up against the wall, and I said, don't you dare say that to me again. Do you understand? And I realized this is a disease I'm starting to develop.
The hunt for black people, as he calls it, is part of a racist system that he condemns today. The first thing he denounces is the quota of arrest imposed on U.S. police in many large cities. This race for numbers pushes them to stop Black people for no reason.
Quotas lead to arrests for no reason. Minorities have no one to call if they're wrongly arrested.
Stop. Well, I know in my city, I've talked to multiple police officers. I have a couple of FBI agents in my unit, and one's FBI, one's OSBI, and there is no quota for anything. It's go out there and do your job. Go out there and do your job. At least in my city and my state, just go out there and do your job. There's no quota for tickets and all this. Now you may get to a little small town where they, struggling on some money. Okay, yeah, you may find it like that. Maybe in some small towns, but at least for my state, there's no quota for tickets or arrest. Why would that's stupid? Why would there be a quota for arrest? And all you're gonna do, and we're trying not to overcrowd the prisons, right? Why would there be a quota for arrest? I don't understand that. I mean, prison money comes from tax dollars, unless it's private. So that's not true in Oklahoma. I don't know. It may be true in your state, in your city. I don't know, but it's not true in my state or city. Another thing he said that Black people, disproportionately Black people, don't have anyone to call if they get arrested. Yeah, it's bail. When you come here in Oklahoma City and you go to the county jail, it's bail bonds, like a whole street full of bail bonds. They can call them, and they can call. There's Black politicians, district representatives that are lawyers here in Oklahoma City that they can call. And I know it's the reason why I know it's not like that in other cities, because there's more Black people in general in a lot of other cities like Atlanta, Philadelphia, New York City. More Black people there. Dallas, Los Angeles. There's more there's people of color in general, but there's people for you to call. They just may not know the number, whatever, but they are there. I think with that, we just have to do a better job of making sure that the people have the information of who to call, who to find, what they can do, what options they have if they do get arrested. That's something me and my brother was talking about today. Especially a lot of conversations I've had in the Black community, disproportionately. If you want to talk about disproportionate and all that stuff, the information, like if they have votes at the state capitol, there's a lot of Black people that I know, they don't even know what they're talking about, what's being changed, what new laws being pushed forth. Why did the city increase the budget on this? Why did they approve the budget on this? So a lot of Black people that I know that are disproportionate, and I'm just using that term because I'm using that term in a way that the culture uses it. They just don't know what's going on. They don't know what's going on. They don't try to find out what's going on. But I think as a community, as a city, we could do a lot better job if making sure people know information. I just think we could. Everybody has a Facebook account. Everybody has Instagram. Everybody has this and that and the other. But let's keep going.
The white person will call their local political committee man or person. They'll call the parents, perhaps, of a teenager, will call the local politician.
And that's what I just said Black people can do. So we're talking about reality here. This is a one officer talking. This is an Instagram post, but we're talking about what really goes on in reality. Black people have people they can call to help them get out of a situation. Okay, if you're innocent, help. There's a lot of when we have a shooting or have any type of violent crime or something. I know personally at least 3 or 4 people that made a deal to get a lesser sentence or to get a probation or something like that, and they're Black. So there's and they got that information from a lawyer, or so there's lawyers that do pro bono. It's just, how do we get to the part where we're thinking outside of the box on these issues? Let's keep going.
Oh, what's going on here? My child was arrested just because he didn't have his license. Why don't you just tell him to go home and get his license? And things like, so the white person has more power. Black people have no connection to the people in power. So,
whoa. There's 10,000 politicians in America. There are 10,000 black politicians in America. Excuse me. 10,000 black politicians in America. So the fact that the lie that he's portraying, he's trying to say that we're clueless, right? We don't have any power. We don't have any education. We don't have, all the normal stuff you hear, and I get offended when I hear these type of things, because, man, you name, in my opinion, you name something and a black person can do it better than any other race. Sports, music, painting, architecture. I think we can be better engineers. I think we need to get more engineers. We need to get more into STEM, or science, technology, engineering, and math. We need more people into that. But we got the power. Like, we just elected a president. Black Lives Matter just elected. If it wasn't for Black Lives Matter organization pushing the agenda that they're pushing, they got corporations behind them. They got the NBA behind them. I mean, they got celebrities behind them. They got music artists behind them. They got a president elected. So the black people have more power right now than they ever had before. Now, this video may be, I don't know how old this video is, but black people right now have more power than they ever had before. And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. The reason why I say sometimes it's bad, because there are some companies out there that just hire a black person just because they want to look good in the public. They want to help their cause, quote unquote. They want to meet a quote on that. You want to talk about quotas? I think some of those quotas have went up, and then you get a job, or you get a position, or you get into a school or something just because you're black, and then you kind of like, at the end of the day, to me, I don't want that. I want stuff given to me that I earn. The Army said, hey, if you want to be a captain, Lieutenant Johnson, you need to lose weight. You need to pass your PT test. Okay. I gotta put the candy down, and I gotta pick an apple up. I gotta put the pop down. I gotta drink some water. So I got this. I don't want things just given to me just because. I want to feel like I earned them, because I'm gonna feel better at the end of the day. Let's keep going.
So there's not going to be any blowback on arresting a minority because they don't have any power to complain.
And African Americans are not only unjustly arrested.
That's exactly what's not going on right now.
They are not treated with the same respect as white people are.
If you stop somebody from going through a light, you would say, hey, out of your car. Out of your car. Show me ID. You wouldn't say that. To a white person, you would go up and say, may I see your driver's license, please? And blacks know that. Blacks know when you go up and say, hey, out of your car now. And then they say, whoa, what did I do? Oh, what did I do? Don't say that. Don't ask me why I'm stopping you. I said, get out of the car. And that's right there, your first disrespect. And I saw that happening, and blacks know it's happening. They know it's not happening to white people. So automatically they start resenting the police just from little verbal commands, let alone the physicality of grabbing somebody and putting them in handcuffs while you check their ID. Unfortunately, when I would tell other officers, whoa, that's enough. Then they would think, hey, what are you? N for the word. What are you, an N lover?
Since he retired, he campaigns openly against the racist behavior of the police. The former officer has even made a very explicit sign.
Now, in every organization, you got bad apples. You got bad people. If you're saying that, and I don't want to hear when people say, "Oh, well, the police they can't be that." No, they can't. But I mean, they have them. I mean, it's called being human, right? It's called sin. They have it. But what we need to do is, I kind of like that. What Tim Scott's bill that he was trying to get pushed forth, where he was trying to have more accountability as far as a registry. Like if a police officer if he gets wrote up by the IR, it's called IA, investigation, internal affairs, IA. If he gets wrote up by them, we'll see it. Right, that's the registry that they were trying to have. I kind of like that because they are police officers, but then it opens up a Pandora's box, big can of worms. And pick which one you want. You know, I want to see doctors. Then I want to see, I want to see what kind of surgeries, like surgeons. I want to see them. I want to see their stats. I want to see their registry. You know, how many times have you saved a life? You know, lawyers. You know, how many cases have you won? I want to see a registry. You know, it's just it'll just open up a can of worms. But I do like that idea. But how can we stop the can of worms? But I do think that he is saying some truth. He is telling the truth about some officers out there. Now, I put a post out, I think it was Friday, when I said I feel sorry for all white police officers because of the fact that I believe that there's a lot of lies being pushed right now by black people or everybody, right? A lot of people. But just because, and I think it's just because they're a white police officer. Like the only reason I believe that people are upset at that guy for shooting the girl that was stabbing the other girl is because he was white. If he was black, I mean, they'd be like, hey, you know what? But don't listen to me. Listen to Don Lemon. Don Lemon is even Don Lemon agrees with me, right? Listen to Don Lemon. So, but I think he is trying to tell the truth about, you know, there are some racist police officers in their spirit. You know, there are some racist police officers in their spirit, and we do need to get those guys out of the force. If you know, and this, no, we need the police officers, and just like any organization. You know, I read the story about this guy. He threw an alligator in the window at Wendy's, and he got aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. So I'm trying to figure out one thing. I'm trying to figure out how big was the alligator, right? But there's something going on with the customer service at Wendy's, right? The guy was upset. They probably got his order wrong. And I've been to Wendy's. I've been to multiple fast food restaurants. A lot of times, it got a lot going on. They got all these people. They just getting order after order after order, and they're hiring a lot of young kids and stuff that really don't care about their job because they really don't need it. And just quit and go home. You know, so you will get frustrated and everything. But I'm not going to throw an alligator. But in order for these companies to fix those problems with customer service or whatever's going on, if there's a bad apple with customer service or somebody's not treating customers correctly, that's going to have to be fixed within. Like the employers are going to have to call that employee out to their manager and say, hey, you know, I seen her fill the fry cup halfway because she was upset that one time. And she's done it like 3-4 times. So I've seen her do it 3-4 times a day. You know, that's what it fixed to some of the police departments. I believe there are bad apples because there are bad apples in every organization, right? Or corporation. Let's finish watching the video.
I'm asking police, end open season. Stop shooting black men just like they're some kind of animal.
They wouldn't do that with a white.
No.
Why?
They have, they devalue the black man. The black man is, well, let's put it this way. In driving down a street in Philadelphia on a hot Friday night in August, I was with a partner. And of course, hot August night in Philadelphia, a lot of these people don't have air conditioning and they're outside. So there's a lot of people outside on the steps in the street. And as we're riding down,
now, the one thing about this is Yeah, we don't. That the one thing about this is it says he's the chief. He's no longer the chief anymore because the chief of Philadelphia is a black woman. So maybe there was some issues there. Now we know there's a high rate of crime in Philadelphia. So maybe they thought they can. Hopefully, they didn't hire her because she's a black woman. Hopefully, they hired her because she is the best person for the job. That's what you want at the end of the day. You want your value and as an employee, as whatever you are, to be in your education, your experience, and all that stuff. Your merit to be what gets you in the position that you're in. So, what he said about, and this is what I was talking about, is what reality is. Yeah, you hear things like that, but what is reality? Like, what are you actually seeing in your communities? What are you actually seeing happen? Right? What I'm seeing in my community is not what he's talking about. Okay, that's not what I'm seeing. Guys get away with murders in my community, and or they may get arrested, and sometimes it's like a long time from then. Like, 2-year-old girl got shot. The guys were shooting at the house and everything, and so they shot the girl. Got shot when the guys were shooting at the house. It took like a whole year to find the killers because the community really didn't help. That's another problem. The community doesn't help when it comes, and that's a whole nother show. Tim, I got stats, facts, stories, articles, all that stuff. I graduated as a criminology major, so I already got all that. So that's another episode. But it's just about what is reality. And the girl in the pink, if that was your daughter, what would you want the police officer to do? That's the question for the day. It's your boy LJ Johnson, host of the LJ Show. I'll see you next time.